1665. A city that never slept. A city of nearly 500,000 people, crowded, loud, alive. Streets were narrow, houses pressed against each other. People shared walls. Air, food, water, and disease. Life here was close, too close. London looked powerful from the outside. Trade flowed, ships filled the Thames, markets overflowed. But beneath the noise and the movement, something was wrong, very wrong. There was no sewer system, no clean water, no understanding of infection. Waste was thrown into the streets, human waste, animal waste, rotting food. Rain washed everything down, into gutters, into puddles, into the river. The same river people drank from. Children played in mud mixed with filth. Adults walked through it, every day, barefoot. Animals roamed freely, pigs, dogs, rats, especially rats. They lived in walls, under floors, inside homes. No one was afraid yet, because no one knew what was coming. This was London, just before the plague. London had a problem. It was dirty. Not just untidy, not just unpleasant. Dirty in a way that soaked into everything. There were no toilets as we know them. Chamber pots were used at night and emptied in the morning. Straight out of windows, into the streets. Below, "Gardez-l'eau," people shouted. If they were polite, most were not. The streets became rivers of waste. Mud mixed with feces, urine, blood, rotting food, animal carcasses, dead cats, dead dogs, dead rats. Every rain made it worse. Water did not clean London. It spread the filth. Shoes sank into the ground. Carts got stuck. People slipped and fell into it. Markets dumped waste behind their stalls. Butchers threw offal into alleys. Fish guts were left to rot. The smell never left. It hung in the air. Sweet at first, then sour, then sickening. Houses were packed tightly. No space, no air, no sun. Rooms were shared by entire families. 10 people in one room, sometimes more. People slept on floors, on straw, on bare wood. Fleas lived in the bedding. Lice lived in clothes. Rats lived everywhere. They ate the waste. They ate the dead. They ate each other. And they were not afraid of humans. They ran across faces at night. Children grew up with them. Nobody thought this was dangerous. This was normal. This was London. And this environment was perfect for something else. Something invisible. Something deadly. Something that did not need to be seen to kill. Water was everywhere. But clean water did not exist. London lived around the River Thames. The river was the city's heart. It was used for transport, for washing, for trade, and for drinking. Every day, waste flowed into the river. Human waste, animal waste, industrial waste. Everything ended there. The same river that received the filth also supplied the water. People drank from it. They cooked with it. They washed their hands in it. They believed moving water was safe. They believed it washed danger away. They were wrong. The river was slow, thick, dark, and alive, with things they could not see. Microscopic organisms, bacteria, infections thrived in it. Buckets were lowered into the Thames and pulled back up, full of death, disguised as water. Beer was often safer than water because boiling killed some of what lived inside. But the poor could not always afford beer. They drank the river instead. Children were given it. The sick were given it. The elderly were given it. No one knew why people fell ill. They blamed bad air. They blamed smells. They blamed God. But the enemy was already inside their bodies, and it was spreading with every sip. The streets of London were not streets as we know them today. They were open sewers. Mud covered everything, mixed with animal waste, human waste, rotting food, dead animals. Horses collapsed in the streets and were often left there for days. Rain did not clean the city. It spread the filth. Wheels of carts crushed waste into the ground. People walked through it. Every day, shoes were soaked. Clothes were stained. Skin was never clean. At night, the city became even worse. Chamber pots were emptied from windows into the streets. Below. Warnings were sometimes shouted, sometimes not. Children played in the same mud that carried disease. Markets stood next to piles of waste. Food was sold meters away from rotting meat. Flies covered everything. They moved from waste to food, from food to mouths. No one washed their hands, not because they did not care, but because they did not know. Soap was rare, water was dangerous, and germs were unknown. Illness was a part of life. Coughing, fever, weakness, death were normal. London did not feel sick. It felt normal. That was the most dangerous part. Rats were everywhere. In houses, in basements, in markets, in bakeries, in churches. They lived with people. They ate the same food. They slept in the same walls. They moved freely through the city. At night you could hear them, scratching, running, fighting. London was their perfect home. Warm, crowded, full of waste. But rats were not the real enemy. They carried it. On their bodies, in their fur, in the bites of fleas. Tiny creatures, invisible, deadly. People did not fear rats. They feared the smell, the noise, the dirt. They did not know that death traveled with them. Water made everything worse. London took its water from the Thames, the same river that carried waste, blood, dead animals, human filth. All flowed together, upstream and downstream. Water was drawn from the river, boiled, sometimes, drunk, often, contaminated. Every cup was a risk, every sip a chance. Disease did not need to knock. It entered quietly, through water, through food, through bites, through air. People fell sick suddenly. Fever, headaches, pain, swollen lymph nodes, black marks on skin. Doctors were helpless. They bled patients. They prayed. They waited. They did not understand. What was killing? London was not prepared for what was coming. In 1665, the city broke. The plague spread faster than fear. Houses were marked with red crosses. Doors were sealed from the outside. Families were locked inside with the sick and the dying. Carts rolled through the streets at night, collecting bodies, without names, without ceremony. Bells rang endlessly. Doctors fled. The rich escaped. The poor were left behind. Markets closed, churches emptied. The city fell silent, except for coughs, prayers, and death. By the end, nearly 100,000 were dead. London had survived fire, war, and famine, but disease nearly destroyed it.
London did not collapse.
The plague did not end the city, but it changed it forever. Whole families were gone. Streets stood silent. Homes were sealed, marked with red crosses. People learned to fear the invisible. Not soldiers, not armies, but disease. After the plague, London began to change, slowly, carefully. Burials moved outside the city. Rules appeared, quarantines, inspections. The idea of public health was born, not from science, but from fear. The city survived, but it remembered.